So we're still here on the grade of the Port Arthur, Duluth and Western. We are once again south of Hillside, and we are approaching the third crossing of the Beaver Dam Creek. You can see down here there's a section, the grade, that's been eroded by the creek. We've had some large downpours in recent years, and you can see the result of that, all the debris that has been thrown up here on the one side of the creek. And then you can see what's left of the crossing here. There used to be some pilings just in the brush over there, and we're going to go take a look and see if we can find anything. And the railway would have crossed right here and continued on this way in its southwesterly direction. Okay, so we're still here on the site of bridge number 3. You can see the actual crossing right here. Most likely what's happened over the years is the creek has shifted and pushed the actual crossing point, probably which would have been right here, a little further to the north. You can see as we make our way into the brush here, we can actually see the remains of a few of the bridge pilings here. There's at least one there, and one here, and what appears to be a couple here, one here, and one there. Not sure if there's anything left inside the brush here. You can see it's very heavily grown in. Here's another one. There's another piling, and there's a bunch more here. Or is that a stump? That one is definitely one right here. There's one right here. And we can see the railway grade right here. And it would have continued its way in this direction to the southwest. You can see how the creek is encroaching on the grade here. You can see how we're entering a nice little section here, a little bit clearer. You can see a little bit of cutting on the eastern side, and the grade here. And then it would have continued in its southwesterly direction. So we're just south of the bridge number 3 crossing, and we've made a interesting little discovery here. You can see that there's a little creek that comes down here through the ridge here, and you can see it forms a little creek here. And what we've discovered here is the remains of a wooden culvert. Very difficult to see in through here, but you can see way down in there what's left of the supports for the culvert. And this was very commonplace on the railway to have these wooden culverts. And then it would have continued this way. There we go. We can see what's left of parts of the culvert here. You can see one piece of wood here, and you can see the rest of the culvert here. You can see there's even spikes that would have been used in its construction. So kind of a neat little find here. Okay, so we've arrived at the site of bridge number 4 here along the Beaver Dam Creek on the Port Arthur, Duluth and Western Railway. And this is another example of how well some of the bridge remains are preserved in this area. The flooding of the creek here has actually done a good job in this spot, clearing away some of the debris that was located at this spot. And so you can see some of the piles on the north side of the creek here. And then you can see the ones along the south side. We'll go down here for a closer look. So you can see there's yet another one here knocked down. You can see the ones right here. You can see some of the, what looks like the foundation here. You can see some sections of the grade here have been washed away. So there's the continuation of the south side of the grade right here. So we'll loop around here to the western side, and hopefully we can see things a little bit better. Gives you an idea of the size of some of the piles here. You can see some of the erosion that continues to happen. And so we're going to continue on, and we're going to arrive at the 5th crossing very shortly. All right, so we've arrived at the site of the 5th bridge. You can see there's sections here of the grade that have been washed out by the river or the creek. You can see the Beaver Dam Creek is on both sides of the grade here. And so we'll make our way over here to the crossing. And so you can see the remains of the bridge. You see quite a number of piles on both sides of the creek. You can also see in this spot there's been a bit of rock work done here, probably in an effort to reinforce the crossing and make sure that the creek does not erode the grade. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way across and take a look at the southern bank. Okay, so we've made our way down here. You can see the piles on the northern side of the crossing. Once again, you can see some of the rock work that was done. And you can see the piles here on the southern side. Over here we actually have quite a number of metal bars, pins used to hold together the sections of the bridge. So if we make our way up this way, you can see more of the piles. See a better view of the grade on the north side. And then you can see the southern abutment here, you can see more rock having been deposited in here. So here's the grade. Heading south, you can actually see some indentations in the ground from the ties. Hopefully the ground here isn't too soft. There's more down here. And so we're going to continue our way southwards to number 6.